It is so, so good. Look at those bubbles. I mean, no, nobody's mad. Huh? Today we're gonna be making Bon Appetit's shockingly easy, no knead focaccia bread. So let's hope it all goes according to plan. The ingredients you'll be needing for this recipe are 1 envelope of active dry yeast. I prefer to use the stuff that comes in a jar, something similar to this. You can just use about 2 1/4 teaspoons, and that equals 1 envelope. 2 teaspoons honey, 5 cups of all-purpose flour, 5 teaspoons of diamond crystal. Bon Appetit really loves their diamond crystal. I will say that for the past year, any recipe that I've made of Claire's, of Molly's, or of Carla's, they always specify they prefer diamond. I find it's really hard to find locally, but when you can find it, grab it. 6 tablespoons of olive oil plus more. Basically, this entire recipe uses a lot of olive oil. Just get used to it. It makes it way better. That's what makes that like crispity, crunchity bits on the bottom. It's like kind of craggly. It's perfect. It's worth it. In addition to just the diamond lately I've been enjoying this one. You'll also need a flaky sea salt or like a finishing salt. Jacobson salt. This one's out of Newart's Bay, Oregon. I'm from Oregon. It's nice to represent and use a local company. To begin, we'll whisk that active dry yeast, 2 teaspoons of honey, and 2 1/2 cups of lukewarm water in a medium bowl, and you'll let that sit for about 5 minutes. You want it just to get like creamy and show that that yeast is working. To this, you can add the 5 cups or 625 grams of all-purpose flour and those 5 teaspoons of diamond crystal. Mix this together with a spatula. It's gonna form a really shaggy dough. Just make sure all of your dry ingredients and the flour gets incorporated. You're gonna need your biggest bowl. And when I say your biggest bowl, I mean the biggest bowl you have. We have like this fun set of all these colors. It's a cute KitchenAid set. You'd think this guy, 4 1/2 quarts would be big enough. He's not. This guy, 5 1/2 quarts. Literally big enough for my head. This is the guy you want. Don't make the mistake of mixing your ingredients in your biggest bowl. You're gonna need this later in order to transfer your dough into this guy. This is what's gonna sit in your refrigerator overnight. Drizzle olive oil into this, about 4 tablespoons. And then like, give it a good roll just so it coats the underside. Pour in that shaggy dough and kind of flip it just so it's all coated with olive oil. You wanna make sure that every bit is touched by olive oil. Go ahead and cover that with some plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator overnight. If you're in a rush, they say you can leave it out room temperature for 4 hours. So when you take it out in the morning and you see that it's super bubbly, it's doubled in size, it's almost outgrown that bowl that you put it in, that's perfect. What you're gonna wanna do is take your big baking pan, so like a 13 by 9 works great, and you're really gonna grease this baby up. Not just olive oil, not just butter, you're gonna do both. First, take some butter. I just use that like butter that's always in the fridge because you needed half of a stick for something and then you put it in the fridge because you know you have a use for it. Yeah, take that, rub it all over, then pour in a couple tablespoons of olive oil, just let it sit in the pan. Before we transfer our dough to our prepared pan, you're gonna wanna use this fork technique. So this is directly from their instructions. Keeping the dough in the bowl and using the fork in each hand, gather up and turn and repeat the process. Do this 2 more times. You want to deflate the dough while you form it into a rough ball. You can then transfer your dough to your prepared pan, pour any olive oil that's left in the bowl on top, you don't want to waste it, and then go ahead and turn your dough over just so everything gets a good covering. Let this rise uncovered until it is doubled in size. It should take at least an hour and a half, but you can have it rise for up to 4 hours. Preheat your oven to 450 and put your oven rack in the middle. You can test your dough to see if it's ready by poking it with your finger. So you poke that dough and it's slowly coming back, but it's leaving that visible mark. It knows you touched it. Grab some more olive oil, lightly oil your hands, and then start poking your dough. Seriously, it's like you're playing the piano. Get all the way down to the bottom, create those indents, and just make sure you're getting all of it. This is what's gonna give it that like really great texture. This is what's gonna allow those bubbles to get to the top and get that beautiful browning. Now drizzle that with the remaining tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Go ahead and sprinkle that salt on top. Once your oven has been preheated, go ahead and put your bread on it. Now it says that you can bake it for 20 to 30 minutes, but personally what I like to do is first put it in for 20 minutes, I check on it. It always needs at least 5 more minutes, but I like to turn the pan and rotate just so if one side's getting a little bit more color, I have some opportunity to even out and kind of get an idea of where the hot spots are or how my bread's gonna turn out. Remove that bread from the oven and look at that beauty. It's still bubbly. You'll see the oil on the side still, but that's what's creating that like beautiful, crunchy, delicious crust. Like, look how good that is. You see that bottom? It's got like that crunch to it. Yeah. The top, you can see that really pretty sea salt. This is such an easy recipe. It's always super impressive. People love it. You can even have this recipe, or you can cook it in a cast iron if you prefer that method. I've turned it into like a bubbly, crunchy pizza crust before. That's fun. It makes a really good like cheesy bread. Any method to deliver more cheese, always a good thing. This is a really fun and easy one. As always, the link to this recipe will be located down below in the description box. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and we'll see you next time. Yeah. That's some good focaccia.